Hi there, my name is David. Welcome to my channel. Today what we're going to talk about is sequence yarn. Very specifically, you can see the little bits of sequence that are in here. This yarn is actually made for working on the knitting machine, and this is really quite a tricky yarn to work with. I tried to knit with this yarn large sections of it, and I found that it got knotted very easily, and also the machine would kind of not like the bumps that came with the sequence part. As you can see, here's the sequence part, if I can get it into focus, and you can see this sequence bit that is here. Now this sequence yarn, like I was saying, is made specifically for the knitting machines. So I'm going to actually talk about this yarn and just tell you how to use it and the issues that are involved with using this yarn. So let me make a sample and then I'll discuss how that will work. Well, this is the knitted sample I did. Basically, what I've done is separate rows of kind of lace stitch and all the sequence yarn, and this is my first attempt. I decided to do the sleeve because I thought, well, it's quite basic, the pattern that I wanted to do, but there were some issues and I had to stop this. Some of the pattern bits became uneven and I wasn't very happy with the unevenness. So even though this looks okay, I wasn't very happy. The ribbing for this particular pattern is very long. It's 40 rows. So I had to just kind of think of doing a sample that's different. So I'm going to just show a little bit about that sample and how this is knitted, and then we'll go on to the next part. Today what I'm going to be doing is using the Knitmaster 323. This is the one that I really enjoy using at the moment. So we'll be doing the sample on the 323. For the sample, I'm just going to do about 14 rows. I just wanted to show how I do the ribbing by hand. I'll just do a ribbing first and then I'm going to work out the amount of needles I need in order to do the pattern. So basically I'm just doing a ribbing here and I'll just show you a little bit on what I do there. Basically what I do when I do ribbing, I like doing ribbing by hand mostly, even though I have a ribbing attachment. I just undo the stitches. When I do ribbing, I undo the stitches and I let it run down, creating a ladder, and then basically this is what you do when you do your ribbing. And it's really quite easy to do. If you don't have a ribbing attachment, then you can do it this way. I find that I like doing the ribbing like this. It's kind of fun and I enjoy the repetition of it. So it's just kind of how you want your ribbing to be done. You can get a ribbing attachment and then do it in that specific way. So this is basically how I do my ribbing, and then I'm going to show you the next part of the sequence work. I have now finished the ribbing, so this is what it's done. I put on 2 weights at the end, and now I'm going to do the sequence yarn, and I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do there. With the sequence yarn, I'm going to actually change it. I'm only going to do 2 rows, but every time I every time I do this pattern, I have to change the yarn. So basically I'm just taking out this yarn, which is the main yarn, and I'm just going to put it across the table edge and hang it there, and then I'm going to put in the yarn for the sequence yarn. So that's what it looks like, and that's what you do. I'm going to now do 2 rows, and I'm going to show you what it looks like afterwards. That's me doing 2 rows of sequence yarn. Then I'm going to change it back to the other yarn. After I've done the 2 rows, I'm going to take this sequence yarn, and I'm actually going to put it at the edge of the table on my left side. And the reason I'm doing that, because when the antenna's at the top, if you put it to the right hand side, then the antennas tend to can get tangled up. So what you do is you do that, so you keep one yarn to the left and one yarn to the right, and that helps in getting you to finish it better without it getting tangled. It does slope down slightly, which is good, because if it slopes down, the yarn slopes down slightly, then when you knit the next yarn, it will also not cause it to get tangled. So let's do another 2 rows in different yarn, and let's see how that works. Now that I've done 2 rows, I'm going to show you the next piece of how you do this pattern. What I'm going to do is create the eyelets in the pattern, which is basically a lace pattern. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 1 stitch. I leave 2 stitches, and then I transfer a stitch to the other side. Let the needle go to the back, and then you do 2 stitches, and then you do the next part of the pattern. That's how this works. It's 2 by 2 basically. You can do it differently. You can do 3 by 3 or 2 by 2. It doesn't really matter. This is how I've done this pattern, and this is how it's worked. So as you can see, it's really quite easy, and this is how it can be very simple. Sometimes the most simplest of patterns is easier to do, and you can see already there that there are gaps. Now that you have these needles in this position, what you do is you bring the needles that were at the back, and you bring them forward, the empty needles. And you bring them forward like that, so they're all in a row. And then what you do is you knit another 2 rows in the normal knitting. Once you've done that, then that's your completed knitted eyelets. You can see the eyelets have formed, and that's really quite simple how that's been done. Now you just repeat again, and then eventually you get the pattern going. So I'm going to now do another 2 rows of sequence yarn, and then that's how it's going to look. This is just a close-up of me showing you how the needles work. Here we go. I'm just putting the yarn next to it, and then I'm just pushing it to the back, and then I do the 1, 2, and then I take the next one, I put it to the back. It's a very basic count. You don't really need to do very elaborate patterns to make something look really interesting. So this is just something that you can do. I've worked 2 by 2 basically. So I've got 2 needles on the end and 2 needles on the side. So you just work your count 2 by 2. So then what you do is I've done that. You take a ruler, and then you push to the back of those stitches, and you just bring them forward. show them there, bring them all forward. Let me just show you just how that is done, and that's how you do your stitches. You just bring them slightly forward, and then you can see, just make sure your latch tools, your latch sections on the needles are open, and then or should I say your latches are open, and then that makes it so that you can create your eyelet. So this is really just the basic part of it. It's really easy to do, and I'm just going to finish this up and just show you the sample part of how this works. So it's relatively easy, and you don't really need to have complicated patterns in order to do this. This is a completed garment that I've done. It was really interesting to do, and I really liked how this garment worked out. So I will be doing another garment soon, and just wanted to show you the completed garment. This is, like I say, this is a completed garment. Here's the samples, and this is the machine that I use, the Knitmaster Impacell 323. And the sample was really quite easy to do as it goes along. The yarn that was really difficult, it had some issues, and but overall the completed garment worked really well. I really liked the kind of punch lace that it had on the pattern, and it really looked really interesting on how it worked. The neckline was much wider than I thought, but overall that was really great, and this is something I really enjoyed making. Well, this is the end of the video. This is the Knitmaster 323. I want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment, and I will be seeing you on the next video.